Welcome to Bass University Live, everybody. Good to have you guys with us. What's up, Riz?
What's up, Pete? Happy to be back on live. Excited for this one.
Yeah. We got Tucker Smith with us. New Bass University instructor, high school national champ, Elite Series champ. Just came off of an amazing derby up at Lake St. Clair, where he had, I think it was the biggest bag of the tournament. Certainly a monster 26-pound bag. Just incredible. And we looking forward to talking to him.
Yep.
But so much going on in the world of fishing right now. Big congratulations to Jacob Wheeler, 4 out of 5 AOYs. Is he the best angler on the planet right now? Maybe is he building the credentials to be all-time great? I don't know. He's in that conversation. It's pretty spectacular what he's doing. He won out there at Saginaw Bay at the Bass Pro Tour, and of course, what a way to end the AOY season by winning the last event. And that truly amazing stuff. Trey McKinney, what an amazing win at Lake St. Clair. Congratulations to him for a great win, and we'll be looking forward to getting him on the show here over the next few weeks as they wrap up the season. We look forward to speaking with him, and just so young, 20 years old, just absolutely crushing it and doing such amazing things. And my cat seems to have joined our picture here for a second. But a lot going on, Riz. One of our boys is sitting out the season, and man, it's heartbreaking, but I'm glad he's doing okay.
Yeah. Continued thoughts for Kyle. A tick got him, but a tick's not going to bring him down. He's just got to take some medical precautions. But unfortunately, he was not able to compete in the Lake St. Clair Elite Series event. So we're thinking about you, Kyle. Hey, Pete, I was captaining this weekend, doing a little bit of on water BassU amateur instruction, and my junior angler that was on my boat, Drew Soul, won the junior high school Upper Bay Bassin Club on the Conowingo Reservoir. He caught the only 5 bass limit in the tournament and won by a nice margin. But Humminbird Lake Master mapping was key again on that body of water. Being that it was a smallmouth dominated fishery and a river fishery, having that mapping to be able to see where their migration line should be, put you in the most high percentage areas, it was paramount. It cuts down the learning time on any body of water. If you're looking to take your fishing up, check out Humminbird Lake Master mapping. It's legit.
It is legit. We used it heavily at the high school national championship down at Clarks Hill. We were down in one of our favorite lakes using it, and we ran into GDP out there. Jake and I were out practicing scoping, and the mapping out there is just astounding, even on a small little lake that we were on. And shout out to GDP. Having a good season. He's in the hunt for the Classic. He has a good finish out there at Mississippi, and he'll be fishing the Classic again. So that'll be pretty awesome if he can pull that off. It's a great body of water coming up. So likely going to be favor him for sure.
That's always a fun one to watch as a fan, Pete. That fishery offers some not only amazing fishing, but it offers some pretty amazing visuals just for the part of the world that they're competing in. It's very natural. It's a very natural part of the world. There's not you can get off the grid, so to speak, on that place, including get stuck on sandbars. So it's fun to see how these guys attack that one.
Speaking of natural, my cat Mila seems to be a natural on the podcast today. All these years of doing this is the first time she decided to make an appearance.
First time.
It's good stuff. But what else? It seems like there was Skeet Reese. Congratulations to Skeet, longtime friend of mine. We've worked together over the years with various companies in the industry, and man, 28, I think 28 years out on tour. Amazing career, won so much, won the classic, won everything, and is really going to just retire from competitive fishing. I know he's going to stay in the industry. He's got some great new products that he's designed and is bringing to market. So wishing him the best and congratulations on his retirement. So it's kind of interesting, Rich. 28 years Skeet has been in the industry. I don't think our guest today is 28 years old.
He's accomplished a lot in his tenure so far.
Yep. Well, that's without any further ado, let's bring him in, Justin, and we'll find out exactly. Tucker, where were you 28 years ago when Skeet Reese started his career?
I wasn't born yet.
That's amazing. It's amazing how much you have accomplished in such a short time. It's fantastic. You've been able to cut the learning curve so much, and I want to, we talk about that. We've talked to you before, and you're a Bass University instructor. By the way, you want to check out Tucker's seminar on his forward-facing sonar picks, his strategies for that. So you guys want to go check that out for sure. But I'm knee deep in this. I want to start here because it's impressive. My son has just come back from the high school national championship, and we threatened to win on day one. We were in contention. We didn't have a good day two, and we fell out of the hunt. But but it's still a very, very good finish. He's a sophomore, and him and his partner are sophomores, and they finished a respectable 56th place in a 250 boat field. So, but that was fantastic, man. You won those derbies.
They're big tournaments for sure, and there was I think 300 boats in some of those tournaments. So I mean, there was a lot of competitors, and it's a big deal. You got all the high school guys from all around the country coming to those things, so it's a big deal.
It is. I mean, you wanted they're actually culling the field a little bit, which I think is kind of I like that. They're capping it, I think, at 250 boats now, so it's a little bit more manageable as a competitor where you're not so overwhelmed with all those boats. But you won it when there was no cap on it, where there's like you said, 300 boats or even 400 boats. Who knows? But that was amazing winning those back then. What tips do you have for the high school kids how do you win a massive tournament like that?
I would say the biggest thing is doing what you're confident in. And especially like back when I was in high school, I was really confident in throwing a chatterbait. That was like my go-to bait. And that was like what I grew up fishing, like all around the house. I grew up throwing it around the ponds around the house. So I was like super confident with that bait. And that's what I locked in my hand the first 2 years when we were there. We found a good area that, had some good fish, and I just locked that chatterbait in my hand and just went to work. And then also the first year, Grayson, I fished with him, and he was really good at flipping. So he would just lock a jig in his hand. So I would get on the front, run a chatterbait down the edges of the bushes and stuff like that, and he would flip behind me. So we worked really good together. And then the year after that, it was kind of the same thing. It was like a shallow chatterbait bite. Flipping bite, and we were able to do it in the same areas. And then the third year I fished with Hayden Marbot, and it was a different time of year, so we ended up fishing the bars and on topwater, smallmouth, a couple big largemouth. But I would say one of the biggest things is doing what you're confident in. You see a lot of guys that are doing different techniques, and it's good to learn new techniques, but it's not, you don't want to try to learn those new techniques in a tournament. You want to try to do what you're confident in during a tournament. You know, if you're making casts with a bait that you have confidence in, you've got a better chance of catching those fish. So that's what I always try to do, is do something I'm confident in.
Man, that is amazing advice. And you can get so caught up in it. You can get caught up in the doc talk and the social media postings and seeing what a lot of the other guys are doing, and it can be completely distracting and take you away from your game. Which in your case, it was fishing that fishing shallow, and you know, I could see that, and I could feel that, you know, as we were competing in the tournament, because there, man, and you get that on the elites, you get that on every tournament where, man, you can get caught up in listening to doc talk, and man, you can't do that and win tournaments.
Yep, that's right. And that's like the way that I grew up too. It's like, I don't know, I like to fish offshore now. You know, I've learned how to fish offshore a lot better, but back then I grew up in Alabama on the Coosa, so I was a shallow water diehard fisherman, swim jig, flipping, frogging, throwing a chatterbait. That's how I grew up. So I didn't grow up with live scope when I was in high school. So that's how I fished, and that was what I was confident in back then. So that's what we ended up doing.
And what I'm getting a little feedback. Are you hearing that feedback, Rich?
No, I'm not.
You're not? It's probably just on my end then. The you're and we make this up as we go along, Tucker, because we're always working on our technical side of things. But the partners you had, I want to ask you that, because you had multiple partners. That you know, a lot of guys have a partner that they work with through their whole, you know, high school and college career, but you were able to adapt to a multitude of partners. That seems like that would be a little bit challenging.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of was, but I was blessed to have some amazing fishing partners. Grayson, when I fished with him my first year, he was a senior, so I fished with him that one year, and then he ended up graduating. And so then after that, I fished with him those first 2 years, and then after that he graduated, and then Hayden Marbett was he's one of my best friends still to this day, and he ended up coming to Briarwood and fishing with me, and then when I went to college, I started fishing with Logan, and Hayden was still in high school. So I fished with Logan a couple years in college when I first got to Auburn. And then once Hayden got to college, I ended up fishing with Hayden again.
Wow. Some great partners, man. All of you have gone on to achieve amazing things. That's unbelievable. I guess, what do you think it was? Did you like, we use a phrase in wrestling. My son is a high school wrestler too, and it's like iron sharpens iron. Is that what happened to you guys? Did you guys push each other to the next level?
Definitely, yeah, for sure. I mean, we all push each other to do better, and you know, that's all my friends. That's what we do. We just fish, and so it's like, you know, every day that we can get a chance to go, we're going fishing. So we definitely learn a lot traveling around fishing everywhere, and we definitely push each other to do better. And it's awesome, you know, having best friends that love the same goals that you do. So it's really fun.
Yeah, tell to me about that. Like, when you were in high school and college, like, did you have trouble getting to the lake? Were you able to practice whenever you wanted? Did you have the resources to do that, or the capabilities? Because, like, without driving, especially, like, how you get into the lake, how you getting your practice in?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I turned 16, I think my first boat was like a 16-foot Pro Craft or something like that, with like a 115 old
Heck
Mercury
yeah.
on it. But yeah, when I turned 16, I would hook up to the boat on the weekends in high school and go to the lake. I think my senior year, I used to get out early, so I'd go hook up to the boat and go to Logan Martin, which was like 35 minutes from my high school. So I was always going fishing all the time. And then college, especially, it just freed up my schedule a lot, being able to pick around my classes. I did a lot of online classes as well, so I was able to probably go fishing a little bit more than I should have. So I was out there all the time,
Yes.
especially in college. That's when I started the trend of trying to go 4 or 5 days a week.
Yes. Well, it's necessary. Here's like I gotta say this, like GDP, he's one of our BassU guys, obviously. He's out on tour with you. And I ran into him, and Rich, this was I guess I'm not surprised to hear it, but he's out on the water 4 to 5 days a week. Like he's raising a family, running his business as an elite pro, but he's continuing to be diligent in his practice and preparation and putting himself on the water 4 to 5 days a week right now, just in between tournaments. And man, that's what it takes to be able to compete with you guys now, Tucker.
Yeah, you can't really take much time off these days. It seems like everything's adapting so quick. Everything's changing. New techniques, new lakes, new everything. There's just so much going on. The fish are changing their behaviors all the time now. There's more people fishing than there ever has been. So the fish are definitely adapting to that. And time on the water is everything for sure. I think that's one of the biggest things. And like you were saying, it's important to be out there, as much as you can, because if you don't get out there, you're going to get left behind for sure.
Do you like strategize on how you're going to utilize your practice? Is it different now from when you were younger? Like, did you go out, all right, I'm going to work on the chatterbait, because I want to get strong there and I'm going to commit to that for a week or for a day, or how did you prepare your practice, or did you fish more seasonal patterns to catch the fish? Well, tell me, how did you use your practice time, or how are you using it now?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, practice, the biggest thing that I've taken as, kind of maturing in this tournament fishing is not getting too locked in practice. And that's something that I've had to learn over years, is especially in the opens is when I really figured it out. Is just because you get on a bite in practice, don't lock yourself into that bite. There's always something that's changing. There's always going to be a better way to catch them. And that's what I try to keep in my head. I try not to get, too locked into one thing. The opens last year, it was 5 days of practice, and you have 3 days of the tournament. So by the end of 5 days of practice, you're like, oh, you get out there the first couple of days, you get on a bite. By the end of practice, those fish are gone. They're not going to bite. They're changed. They moved to doing something else. And you have to figure out what they're doing during the tournament. And that was something, I think at least 4 of the opens last year, I had to fish all new water in the tournament and refigure out those fish. And that's something that I've learned in the elites this year too, is even fishing these elite tournaments, I've scrapped everything in the tournament in the middle of the day and gone and ran something completely different and ended up catching them. So you just have to keep an open mind. And I think that's one of the biggest things that is hard for people to do, especially in a stressful tournament situation, is scrapping all of your practice and just going fishing and figuring out what the bite is at that moment. Because they may have been 15 to 20 foot, but with all the pressure out there, maybe they moved up to 5 to 10 foot or 12 foot. So you have to kind of readjust and figure out what they're doing.
Man, that's truer words have never been spoken in my experience, and what I've seen from openers is it happens in real time. The the winning patterns develop right in front of your nose, and we always call it the developing pattern at BassU. And the guy that is on that developing pattern, just like you described it, is the guy that he's one step ahead of the fish in essence. Right?
Definitely. Yep. I mean, it's always changing. And yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing, is you can't get locked in, because those fish they're going to swim around. They're not going to sit still and get beat on by people for multiple days in a row. So
that's the truth. I've said that before, like fish will only do the same thing for so long. And and they're going to make a change. The bait moves because the bait gets upset from being eaten so much
Yep.
that it gets forced into different positions in different areas, and it's not going to just sit there and get gorged on. It's forced to move. The predators are forced to move with it, and the savvy angler is the guy that is looking for that next movement, and you're one of those savvy anglers, dude. 26 pounds of smallmouth. How awesome was that?
Man, it was unbelievable. It was crazy. I didn't think that going out there, I was like, I'm gonna go try to catch a big bag. I was like, I want to go catch over 20 again, but I was not expecting 26 pounds. I went out there and I checked some of the stuff that I caught them on the first day, because I had 21.15 the first day, and I was like, well, that's a pretty good bag, but I had a 5.5 pounder smallmouth, so I was like, well, I'm going to go kind of try to run some of those same areas and look around and see if I can find a couple more giants and fill out my limit with some good ones. And I ended up going to a place where I caught that 5.5 pounder, and I wasn't seeing anything. I ended up trolling around and kind of like breaking that area down. I was kind of, when I caught that big one, I was kind of just zipping through there, not really paying much attention. And then that second day, I actually broke down that area, kind of trolled around that whole kind of vast area with that shorter grass. It was kind of like a big area, but there was a lot of tall grass around. And then there was a smaller area that was probably 800 foot long that had some shorter grass. And that's what they were sitting in, that shorter grass with some sand mixed in. And I ended up trolling back in there, and I saw one, threw out there with my minnow, catch a 5-pound smallmouth. I'm like, oh wow, this is crazy. I didn't know there was more 5-pounders in this area. There was 2 of them together. I ended up getting back on the trolling motor. The other one was under the boat. It swam under the boat and was sitting under it for shade. I picked up my dropped my drop shot down, and catch another 5-pounder right under the boat. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I've got 2 5-pounders. And so I went to another place. I zoomed out on my map. I was like, all right, I'm going to find another place that looks just like this on the map and try to run it. And I zoomed out on my Humminbird, and I was like, well, this kind of swings the same, and this kind of has the same depth right here. I pulled up to it, a place I'd never been before, and I caught 3 over 5. So it was it was nuts, and all the fish on my scale were over 5 pounds. And on a place like St. Clair, that's, I think, a dream day. That's the biggest bag I've ever had out there.
That's freaking amazing, man. Now you're using I guess a Lake Master map. Or did you because St. Clair, I mean, how are you able to find a contour change? It's like nothing out there. Did you alter your color palettes or depth zones to how were you able to find a similar area with such a bowl bottom on St. Clair?
Yeah, I mean, I color my my depths, kind of, I keep it on that lighter brown shading. There's like a preset that they already have that you can select, and I like that one. I don't do anything too fancy with the depth shading, but just the way that they have it's really good. But yeah, I mean, I was in an area where there was a good bit of depth change, and so it was a little bit easier to see where those depth changes were. It was a little bit more drastic than the rest of the lake where I was at, so I was able to actually see that same depth change that I saw on that place where I just caught some, and was able to run over there. It was probably about a mile away, but not too far.
Sounds to me like you must have been in the shipping channel or near it.
I was close by. I was out there in the middle.
Yep. Interesting stuff. Now you said a couple things. That one went under the boat using it for shade. A lot of guys are turning off their 2D or their down imaging. How are you seeing that fish? What are you using? Because people get all forward facing sonar, they forget about the other tools sometimes.
I just saw it on my scope, like, because I could see it like back up under the boat a little bit.
Okay.
And I just ended up just dropping it right back down. But that was a big thing that people overlook too, is like whenever you're trolling around on those smallmouth places, especially St. Clair, if the sun's out, they love shade. So I always like turn my trolling motor back around behind the boat, and I always look, like if I'm trolling, I look probably every couple minutes just to see if there's one trailing, because you'll go over like a patch of grass and you won't see anything, and your boat goes over it, and that smallmouth is in that patch of grass and comes up out of it and gets up under your boat for shade. So I've caught several over 4 in
That's
the
incredible.
tournament.
That's incredible. The shade overpowers that, like it overpowers that piece of habitat that they were on strong enough to where they're like, I'm not worried about this grass anymore. I'd much rather have the shade.
For sure. Yeah, it's like a triple tail on like a piece of seaweed in the ocean. It's like they see something float over and they go up there and get on it.
It reminds me of the Lake Champlain tournament. Seth was fishing, smallmouth cove, and I guess the boats had come in to anchor and spend the day or party or whatever, and he wound up catching all his fish out of the freshly anchored boats that had just pulled in. You remember seeing that?
We've got a tournament there. Don't say anything.
Well,
I remember that.
Yeah, I didn't mean to clue anybody else onto it. It's all public information, but yeah, that was amazing, and it's really cool because we hear so much about, Rich, you're talking about overpowering the overpowering nature of the shade and how the fish will use it, but you got guys talking about the bass running from the ping of the forward facing sonar, getting adjusted to the minnow and running, and here you're catching 5-pounders under the boat.
Yeah, I saw a video the other day, and it was saying that the frequency of the forward facing sonar pinging, the bass can't hear it. I heard it's more of the bass sees your boat, or they hear the boat slapping against the waves. And that was what the biggest deal was up north at St. Clair, is those calmer days were better, not because the sonar they could hear it. It was because on those rough days, the waves, your boat would be slapping the waves, and they would hear the boat slapping the waves. That's why they weren't biting as good. So it was really interesting, like watching that video, that those bass don't really hear the forward facing sonar ping, and they're more like seeing the boat, hearing the boat slap and hit the water. Right.
They're slapping of the boat means I'm going to get a hook, likely, or I've been caught when I hear that noise, maybe. And
it's crazy. Like you would be in 2-foot waves, 3-foot waves, or whatever, and you would throw a drop shot out there, and that smallmouth would be swimming through the water, and they'd hear the drop shot weight hit the water, even in the waves. And it was just crazy to me that they were able to hear that drop shot weight hit the water, and they would turn around and look for it, even if they were like 10 foot away, 15, 20 foot away from it.
Wow.
They're smarter than we think, for sure.
Yeah, well, and it is an area that gets a massive amount of fishing pressure. I've been, up in that region, and it's people love to fish. So yeah, they're getting tons of fishing pressure, hearing a lot of different things. But you were able to adjust. Everybody was battling it. One of the things I wanted to ask you, and it seemed like you and other guys were able to identify easily the bigger fish. Was it that obvious when you would come upon a 5-pounder over a 3-pounder? Because that's really hard for me to distinguish.
Definitely. I mean, I could tell which one was bigger for sure just by looking at a lot of fish that week, how they were swimming. It was easier to tell if they were bigger, if they were a little bit deeper. If they're shallower, like in that Anchor Bay region, that 7 to 10 foot range, it's harder to tell the size just because everything's more blown up, and it's harder to see what exactly the size of those fish are, because they were swimming up near the surface in Anchor Bay a little bit more. But out deeper, I could tell where I was catching them. I could tell if there was a little bit better size. But the biggest thing is those big fish out there, they group up together, and that's something that a lot of people, kind of overlook, is they just kind of go out there and just fish around and catch as many as they can. But if you kind of break it down and find an area, if you catch like a big one, you need to spend some time slowing down in that area because those big ones migrate, I think, and travel together, kind of out from where they spawn and out to the lake.
That makes sense, right? Like a big fish occupies a particular piece of area or habitat because it probably offers the easiest feeding opportunities,
Yeah, and
right?
it was just weird. Like when I caught that big bag, all those 5-pounders were together, and then I go around all the rest of those areas and catch like smaller ones. But it was just like certain little areas that had like 5-pounders in it, 5-pounders in it. So all those big ones, they swim together.
That's awesome. All right, back to this 26-pound bag with all these 5-pounders. How did that go down? Like you found a trio of 5-pounders. Did you see them like that, or did you have to pick through the area to get them, or how did it actually go down to get 5 giants?
Yeah, I had to pick that area apart for sure. I ended up catching those. I caught that one on a minnow, and then I caught that one under the boat on a drop shot. But it was kind of just a 800-yard or 800-foot kind of circle area that was in the grass. That was that shorter grass, like I was talking about around the sand, and and it was just. It seemed like if you trolled around that area, most of the fish were where that tall grass met that shorter grass, and it seemed like the perch were mostly around that hard line of taller stuff that was hitting that sand. So that's where it seemed like the perch were, and that's where it seemed like the bigger smallmouth were, and you could see them swimming right above the grass. So I ended up throwing later in the day when the sun came up. The fish they came up off the bottom a little bit, but they were still hugging the grass. So I ended up tying a longer drop shot leader so that my drop shot bait would, or my weight would fall into the grass and my drop shot bait was still above the grass. And that was a big thing because I was throwing it and my drop shot bait was getting down in the grass. And I was like, well, I'm not getting bites. These fish aren't going to swim down in that grass and eat it. So I ended up making my drop shot bait a little bit higher up, and I was able to catch a lot more fish because I was suspending that bait right above the grass instead of letting it fall in there.
That's slick. Makes perfect sense. You had, when you caught your 5th 5-pounder, I mean, what was that like? Like, did you call out a little one? Did you call out a 4-pounder with it? Were you doing a celebration dance in the boat? What was going on there?
I threw back like a 480 and a 460 that day. So I was,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. So I was like, my marshal was just getting pumped up. Like we were giving each other high fives. We were like, dude, this is crazy. But I don't know. It was nuts.
No doubt, man. Did you shut down when you had that weight? Did you go practice fishing? What does someone do when they have 26 pounds in the boat?
Yeah, I ended up just like catching a couple more that didn't help that were pretty big, and I was like, well, I'm gonna leave this and come back tomorrow. But that was a mistake because I guess I shouldn't have let them rest and come back tomorrow because they were all gone. But they just swim around out there a lot, so you just have to catch them when you can catch them in the Elite Series, and that's what I've learned on the Elites is if you're on them or you have a place that they're biting, you better try to catch every single one of them because you're not going to be able to either catch them there the second day or the Elites are going to catch them a lot better than you thought. And you don't ever need to try to, lay up.
Don't lay up, man. Those are powerful words. Mean a lot to me right now. And put your foot on that gas and don't take it off. You worry about tomorrow kind of thing, But
Definitely.
I love that. That's a winning strategy. Those are winning decisions. Straight up mounts has a good question. I thought Justin had it pulled up there for a second. Does the river current come into play on places like Anchor Bay? There's a tremendous amount of current coming through Lake St. Clair. How did that affect you? How did you play the current?
Yeah, definitely. The current was where the cooler water was, and it seems like those fish migrate to that cooler water, whether it be in the middle of the lake, coming through this shipping channel, or whether it be coming through Anchor Bay. That those areas just have current. They have cooler water coming through there from the Great Lakes, and that's where those big fish seem to be around. They seem to be around that cooler water, and that's where all the bait is too. The bait wants to be around the cooler water. So Anchor Bay, that's why it's been so good the last few years, is because it's got all those multiple rivers running into it with colder water that just it just pumps colder water into that bay, and there's so much more bait, there's so much more fish, and that's where a lot of the tournaments are out of too. So all those fish get let go right there. But I was out there in the middle where most of the current was coming through that channel, and that seemed to be where the big ones were if you could find them, but they're just hard to find.
Well, you found some. I want to shout out to Steve Kaiser watching from the St. Lawrence River. What a nice place. It's funny. I do that too. I go fishing and I listen. Like me and my son were out fishing this weekend, listening to you guys on the play-by-play on Bassmaster. So we're fishing and listening to fishing, but we're obsessed. I see Steve is too. Shout out to Chuck Fish and Howie Range. Good to have you guys with us and all the rest of you guys. It's weird, Tucker, Anchor Bay. I fished tournaments on St. Clair, back in the 1700s, and the Anchor Bay was rarely mentioned. Like we would fish around the shipping channel. We would fish the Miles roads. A lot of us would run to Erie, or some would go to Huron and fish the rivers, the Detroit and the St. Clair. But for whatever reason, I don't know, Anchor Bay has been the place, where everything has gone down. And I don't know what's changed back when I fished before, those tournaments there. Maybe the forward facing sonar has revealed things that we couldn't see back then. I'm not sure. But man, Anchor has exploded into winning all these tournaments in recent years.
By straight up mounts there. That was awesome. That was a really, really good question.
Yep. Scott, I want to invite you guys to go check out Scott Dobson's interview that we've done. He's a Lake St. Clair. He guides and teaches on St. Clair now, and has won many, many times. But the thing that sticks out in my mind, and this goes up to your question straight up, he talks about being able to see the current seams even out in the middle of the lake when it would get calm or light winds. You could actually see those current seams, and it's amazing reading the floating, eelgrass, reading the calm and choppy current seams. But there's actually some pretty advanced, just visuals that you can develop, by spending so much time out there in the middle of the lake. So go check out Scott Dobson's stuff. He's a killer up there on Lake St. Clair. But Rich, we were talking. What were some observations you had about this derby? I thought they were pretty interesting.
I mean, yeah, Pete, I'm not gonna lie, I'm drawing a blank on which observations we were going back at.
We were talking about electronics and how guys were, seem to be doing it with ease.
Yeah. So Tuck, you guys make it look easy, on using forward facing sonar and scope. And I mean, it's great. It's, but talking to the rest of the population, i.e. Pete and I, we seem to have to be constantly adjusting our settings and, making micro adjustments inside of the unit in order to keep it looking how we want it to look. Mm-hmm. Do you have to do that as well, and it just doesn't we don't see it because it's more behind the scenes stuff? Or do you kind of go into these events and how your units are going to need to be set up for maximum performance almost before you even get in the water?
It kind of depends where I'm at. The biggest thing I mess around is with my gain, but the biggest thing is just water clarity. Depends on if there's water sediment, or if there's sediment in the water. I mean, you're going to have to turn your stuff down or turn your stuff up. It's a place like St. Clair, the water's so clear, you can kind of run it however you want. You're going to be able to see fine. But if you go to a place that's got some more stains, some more sediment in the water, you're going to have to mess with those settings. Color gain is something that I mess with a lot. The more you turn that thing up, the better you can see your bait at farther distances. Stabilization's a big thing. if it's really wavy, I set mine to auto stable. If it's not windy, if it's calm, I end up setting my pitch angle to what I want to set it at, depending on what kind of fish I'm fishing for. If I'm fishing for fish that are up near the surface, or if I'm fishing for fish that are down lower in the water column, I set that the way that I want. There's a lot of stuff that you can do, and it's a lot harder than people think. Being out there in St. Clair and 3-footers, with the wind and the current going opposite directions, and being able to catch over 20 pounds of smallmouth is not an easy task, and it takes a lot of hard dedication to get good with that thing in those conditions.
There is
And
no doubt.
the smallmouth, you hear all this stuff about smallmouth being super dumb, but this time of year when it's the hottest weather that those fish see, they do not want to bite. This is like the 1 month of the year where they're, really finicky to get the bite, especially when they've had pressure on them since the lake's been, Canada side's been open and all these people have been up here fishing. They're tough to catch, and you have to do certain little tiny things, specific techniques and stuff, and the perfect presentation to make those fish bite, especially a 5+ pound smallmouth. You have to make your presentation so perfect. If you twitch your bait wrong one time, that fish is not going to bite it. If you fall on that fish the wrong way with your bait, it's not going to bite it. I mean, there's so much that goes into it, and I'd say less than 10% of those giants bite. So, I mean, you throw at so many of them and you don't get a lot of them to bite. So it's not easy.
No, it's
you said it.
Stabilization.
Twitch your bait the wrong way, and they'll run from it. Yeah. I'm always twitching my bait the wrong way. Apparently, like what does that look like? What is the wrong way? Like, is it too aggressive or too subtle or dropping it? What have you seen that really shuts them off and turns them in the other direction?
So, like with a minnow, you always want to be above the fish. As soon as that fish makes a movement, like you see that fish flare up on your screen, like he sees the bait. As soon as he flares up and gets bright, you got to start moving that bait, because as soon as he sees it and you start moving it, that's when he's coming to go get it. And if you wait, if you wait a few seconds after that fish flares up and then you keep letting your bait fall down and then you start working it, he ain't going to bite it unless it's, a place that nobody ever fishes. But if you're fishing a pressured place, as soon as that fish sees it, you better pop it and start working it, because he's coming for it, and you need to start moving it because it looks more natural that way. I would say one of the biggest things is splash. If a fish is 10 foot under the water or to the surface, you don't want to splash right on his head because it'll scare him. You want to throw, 30, 40 feet past him and reel it up to him and then let it fall under the water. You don't want to let it splash right on top of his head. Another big thing that I found at St. Clair was throwing my bait short of the fish and letting them eat it coming towards me. And that's something that a lot of people don't know. When those fish if you throw past that fish and it's swimming away from you, and that fish runs away from you and eats that bait, you're setting the hook backwards on that fish. And a lot of times they get it a weird way in their mouth. I always try to throw it short of the fish and let them come to me and eat it. That way I hook them in the top of the mouth every time in the roof.
Yes. Okay, man, that's amazing. Amazing tips and tactics. Mario has a question, and I like this question. What? How about the boat traffic? It was crazy out there. It was insane.
It was unbelievable.
Did that help? Did that help? Did that hurt? What was it like?
I mean, it was unreal. On Saturday, they had that boat party or whatever. Yep. I think it's the biggest on the water boat party in the United States or something like that.
Nice.
I mean, there was yachts everywhere. Just going like 30, 40, just plowing water like this. And there was thousands of them.
Wow. Did it stir up the bottom? Did it activate fish? Did it shut them down? Did it push them around? Did it matter to you?
I mean, where I was fishing at, it didn't really matter. I was kind of out there in the middle of the lake, so they were running by me though, and it was tough to fish for sure. But in Anchor Bay, especially, I ran back in there at the end of the day, and it was like a washing machine in there. Like I felt bad for those guys. They were fishing in there all day because they were getting run around by yachts and jet skis and a lot of people that probably weren't sober.
Oh, that's crazy. I saw some images. I saw some of the aerials, and yeah, it was like world record status with all those boats all tied up together. But the fish continued to bite. We've seen patterns get better sometimes with boat traffic. But chopping up the grass and activating bait fish, stunning bait fish. But yeah, that was crazy. Are you do you use a seat, like a butt seat, a stabilizing deal, or are you still able to balance in all that rough water on your trolling motor?
I do. If it's really bad like that, like it was really bad the second and the first and the second day, or first and third day. The waves were really bad, so I did use the seat. I don't sit on it often. I just kind of lean up on it, just because like if you're out there and you have a weird cross wave, you could get slung off the boat, and that would suck. So I try to just lean up against that seat. But if it's somewhat, I'm able to stand out there, I try not to use it because I feel like I fish better without a seat because I'm, standing up and more in tune with everything that's going on and not just leaning up. But it definitely helps out, and it's a game changer if you're in those crazy waves.
Yeah, no doubt. I've gone, that I've seen guys doing it without, like even in those 3 and 4 foot waves out on the Ontario and stuff. And I'm like, man, oh man, it's like how it's so difficult to control the boat, but they're figuring out how to do it. I heard something about you, and I want to ask you about this. Rich sent this out in our group text, but I have made a career of being the last guy to launch in any tournament. Uh, from what I understand, you might be my understudy. Is that true?
Yeah, that's kind of true. I'm hard to get up in the mornings. I hate the morning. I wish we could start tournaments at 9 a.m. I don't know why we don't do 9 to 5s.
Well, I see. I like it. Well, I like getting the extra sleep because people don't value sleep enough, and the power of being able to make good decisions on a well rested, mind. But it's like when you show up last to the launch ramp's cleared out. There's no launch line. You just ease your boat in. It's like no pressure. It's so much easier to do it that way. But I always get criticized for it, but I'm glad to see somebody is taking up for me and going out of their way to keep that alive out on tour.
Yeah, I don't know. I try to get up early. It just a lot of times it doesn't work out. I've got some roommates that help wake us up, but I just hate the mornings, and I just can't. I don't know. I go to sleep really late at night. I go to sleep like 1 or 2 a.m. usually, so it's like tough for me. It's tough for me to, wake up in the mornings. But I don't know. I like getting to the ramp and not knowing where I'm going to start. That's when I've had some of my best tournaments. I'll get to the ramp and don't really know. I'm kind of rushed, so I don't really know where I'm starting. I just get down, throw my life jacket on, and just go and just pick a spot to fish. And sometimes that's one of the best ways to do it is run off gut instinct like that.
I love that. Because when you're there and you're floating around for 2 hours, your brain is flip flopping. Well, all right, I'll start in the river. No, I'll start on the lake. I'm going to grass fish I'll stop at your brain is working overtime.
I'm going to go here and then I'm going to go there and then I'm going to do that. Yeah. You just need to go.
Just need to go fish.
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot. This is the new. Well, you're scaring me now though, because you got the AOI or the ROI coming up. we got to make sure you're up. You know, like do we have like 3 backup alarms? What we got a plan for this, Tucker?
I'm in a tight race with Paul right now, and I travel with Paul, so he's probably just gonna like close my door and like sneak out the front door or something and go up there and practice.
Oh man, that's terrible. Yeah, you're gonna have to like call your parents, your friends. Everybody's gonna have to call you in the morning. Make sure you're up and at them. You know,
we've got Loberg. He's the dad of the house. He kind of gets everybody up, make sure everybody's got their coffee, all that stuff.
that's is it the 3 of you? Is it who's traveling together? You and Marks and
It's
Loberg?
me, Paul Marks, Andrew Loberg, and Emil Wagner.
Okay. That's quite a house.
It's a fun one. We call it the Surge House.
The Surge House. What's that mean?
It's like, if you're in a tournament and you haven't had the best day or you haven't had the best morning, you're trying to catch some big fish, you got to surge. And if you come in with a big bag, you surge that day. That's our name, the Surge House.
Oh, you got the Surge Award up there on that 26-pound day. What do you get? Do you get to eat first, or not have to do the dishes that night? What's the reward?
You usually get to pick the first bed.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll take that. Well, you're in the hunt for ROI. What do you know about the Mississippi River? Have you pre-practiced? What are your thoughts? Are you even thinking about it?
I've definitely thought about it. I haven't been thinking about Rookie of the Year. I've just been keeping my head down and fishing hard. I don't really look at the points at AOI, or I don't look at Rookie of the Year points because it just is going to stress you out more if you start trying to do calculations and everything like that. But I know about that place. I fished the Open last year there, and I did pretty well at Mississippi River. I was sitting in third after the first day, and I had a rougher day 2, but I ended up having a really good tournament there. So I'm excited to get out there and see how they're biting. I'm probably going to go this week to one of the other pools. I think like 5 or 5A or something. And one of the ones that we can't fish in the tournament, and probably try to spend a couple days out there and see what's going on, and then creep over to the lacrosse pools for practice.
That's man, that sounds like a really good use of your time. Yeah, Trey. I thought I heard Trey talking about going to Lake Michigan, just to practice triggering smallmouth for this tournament, and that worked out really well. So I mean, go to the pools you're allowed to fish and spend some time, man. That's awesome. Well, it's you're right there in the hunt. I think you're 9 points from first, so that's anybody's deal,
Definitely anybody's game, and Easton too, and any of the guys. Emil, like anybody's chance.
Let's see. Look at that! Holy crap! Emil's sitting in fourth. Easton is he's in third place. You guys are Loberg's. He's not out of the realm of possibility. Well, he's down there. That's going to be a tough one to overcome, but man, you guys are all packed up. Going to be interesting to see how this goes down.
Oh, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm excited to get out there and just fish against those guys. They're all so good. It's just fun to fish the Elite Series because these guys just push you to be better and fish harder. And especially traveling with Emil and Loberg and Paul, they're all just really good guys, really good fishermen, and it's awesome to have kind of that competitive drive between all of us for sure.
How did you guys hook up? Like, all right, we're all rookies. Let's just take this on together. Did you meet on on the Opens, or how'd you guys get all hooked up?
Yeah, I've known Paul for years now. I met him at a tournament like years and years ago. And then Loberg, and I've known Emil for a while too. I've known all of them just through tournament fishing over the years, college, opens, and everything like that. And yeah, we ended up just starting to travel together, and we've really liked it so far this year. So it's been a lot of fun. It's a great group of guys. We've got a couple camera guys that travel with us too. My camera guy is Hudson Tennell. He does a great job with my YouTube and social media and stuff. He helps me out with that. And then we've also got Emil's camera guy, Forrest, who travels with us too. So he does a great job as well.
That's a big house. Do we have a chef amongst us, or
not really. Forrest is kind of the chef. If he comes by and gets some stuff to cook, we're pretty pumped up. But most of the time, it's like stopping at Chipotle or something on the way back. we try to eat healthy, but I don't eat the healthiest sometimes.
We got to straighten you out, Tucker. You don't sleep. You don't eat healthy. We got to work on this.
I go to Chick-fil-A a lot. That's one of my favorite places to eat.
It could be worse. It could be worse, right? Of all the fast food places, Chick-fil-A is not too bad. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know that we want to fix too much. Maybe you ought to keep going down this path for a while. It seems to be working out really well for you. But yeah, it's it's great stuff. Can't wait to see how it plays out. Oh, you're the last guy to get up. Any other craziness going on in your house?
What do you mean craziness?
Well, I don't know. You stay up late. I guess the guys have to make sure they knock on your door before you leave.
Yeah, Lover gets up at about 4:30 every morning. Fixes his coffee.
Yeah.
Make sure all of his shoelaces are tied. Everything, like whatever he does at 4:30, and then Paul. I don't know. I mean, Emil's really tough to get up too. Emil's bad about sleeping as well. Me and him are kind of close, but during practice and tournament, he gets up a little bit quicker than me. But if we're just hanging out or fun fishing or something, or Emil's pretty tough to get up too, and he sleeps with the lights on. Emil just falls asleep with the lights on. He just walks in there and just
damn. You just dropped an atomic bomb right there, Tucker. They used to have a saying in some townships with the police force: the guy who sleeps with the lights on. I mean,
is that a thing, Riz? The guy that sleeps with the lights on is trouble.
How do you sleep with the lights on?
I think it's not anything weird like that. He just goes in there and he's so tired. He's just doesn't want to get up and turn the lights on, I guess, or off, I guess.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Oh, I love it. That's funny. That sounds like a fun house, man, and everybody's having success, and that's fantastic. And like I said, we'll look forward to watching this next week. It'll be it's great fishery. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
All the different techniques that we can use there.
It'd be awesome.
Well, Rich, we were talking about
what
different patterns. What we were talking about what's going on in Alabama.
Yeah. So Tuck, I'm gonna throw a little scenario here at you, and we want you to try to solve the riddle without actually being in the riddle, so to speak.
Okay.
We're on the Coosa River. Okay,
right.
we're downriver. We're say you got a tournament on Jordan Lake, that section of the Coosa River. Okay, late August, early September. And there was a tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico that has brought a massive weather system up through the state of Alabama. And you've received torrential rain for 2 to 3 days leading up to your tournament, the front end and the back end of a tropical depression. How are you going to handle that situation on Jordan Lake?
If there's, you mean like how am I going to break down the lake? Like how am I?
How are you if you were going to go out and have to fish a one-day tournament and those in that set of conditions, and let's just surmise that since you got a lot of rain on the front end and the back end, you got a lot of water that's just dumped down onto that lake. How is that going to affect it? How are you? Where are you going to start your process, and how are you ultimately, if you were fishing in a one-day derby, how are you going to go win that tournament?
I'm going to start shallow, 100%. Whenever you have tropical storms like that, whenever I've been around hurricane weather down south, they always bite shallow when there's hurricane weather and significant storms like that. They always bite. It seems like there's always a giant pressure drop whenever there's hurricane storms like that. They always seem to bite topwater. Buzz baits have always been good on tropical storms. Swim jig. I'll probably start off that morning fishing down some grass with a swim jig or a buzz bait. And then I'd probably try to run into some of those kind of run-ins down the lake, and probably throw a chatterbait in some of those. And the biggest thing too is current breaks. Like whenever you get a lot of current running down through that river, you can get behind some of those main river points and some of those main river breaks, big boulders that stick out into the river, and actually fish behind those and catch some big ones. So I'm guessing if there's torrential current like that, a lot of those fish float in that river. So I'm guessing if there's a ton of current like that, they're all just going to be behind those current breaks. And I would just run current breaks in the afternoon and fish grass in the morning. Try to catch a giant largemouth first thing, and then go try to catch 3 and 4 pound spots in current breaks.
I like it, man. That's unique. You actually have a hurricane strategy and pattern in place. You must get a fair amount of those down in that part of the country.
We've had a few of them over the last couple of years.
Yeah. I have a question for you right now, because we fished Clark's Hill, and it had, I don't fish in the summer like down south, because all of our tournaments are always in the spring. Early in my career, they were in the fall too, but we've never been in the heat of the summer. And the bluegills were crawling all over the banks. Mm-hmm. Is that a common behavior that you see in the lakes in Alabama and Georgia this time of year? Is the bluegill patterns up shallow?
Not really. The bluegills this time of year are usually deep.
Wow.
At least where I live, around kind of down in central, Alabama, is this time of year. It seems like those bluegill get kind of deep. They get like on the ledges and get on the brush piles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this time of year, those fish are deep. Like at Clark's Hill, they're catching them really deep, like out there in those channels. Catching them down super deep.
That's how the tournament was won, and we were scoping them there, but we caught a lot of our bigger fish as we lost Tucker, it seems, feeding on those bluegills.
Yeah,
which is super interesting. But man, we learned a lot there, Rich.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll see if he pops back in, but even if he doesn't, he unloaded a lot of info on us right there, Pete. And right at the beginning of the interview is just one of the heaviest hitting statements you can make in tournament fishing. It's just fishing your confidence baits. It's so easy to say, and it's so easy to hear, and we hear it over and over and over and over again. But I mean, ultimately it always rings true. It's like you gotta stick to your guns. If you're not sure what your guns are going to be for that day, stick to the ones have bullets.
Well said. We got you back, Tucker. But man, we're just praising you, and learned a lot about different techniques, and it's really amazing to watch how efficiently you're your group, and are just tearing into this sport and just tearing it up. And it's really cool to see. It's going to be fun to watch the ROI race wind up here. What a great end to the Rookie of the Year season, and or to your rookie season. Man,
I appreciate it. It's
yeah,
been awesome. It's been an awesome year. It's been a blessing for sure. The Lord's blessed me this year. I've been able to, have some good tournaments this year, and I'm looking forward to the last one. But it's just been a lot of fun, man. Being able to fish against my heroes that I've looked up to my whole life, it's just eye opening to me, and it's something that I've dreamed of for so long. I've been watching bass fishing ever since I can remember. My grandfather got me into it when I was super young, and fished tournaments with him when I was 8-10 years old, and he got me into it. And then knowing Aaron Martins for a while, it really kind of opened up my eyes and showed that it was a possibility of trying to make it a reality, and being able to actually make it now and win a blue trophy. It's been a dream come true for me, and super, super blessed. I can't thank everyone enough.
that's fantastic. Did you get to spend a little time with Aaron?
I did. Yep. I knew him for a little while. I went to same high school his daughter went to, and that's why I run the purple, and I run a lot of rods and reels that he gave me. So I was really close with him, and he was definitely a big mentor of mine for sure.
That's fantastic. I got to know him a little bit myself, and he was a unique bundle for sure. What are some of the things that you took away from Aaron that have helped you in your fishing career?
Have fun. That was the biggest thing. Don't let the little things stress you out. Go fishing with a good attitude. We get to fish and fish tournaments, and we're very blessed to be able to do that. And a lot of little things can happen, but can't let those get in your head, because everybody loses fish. Everybody has problems on the water. Everybody has a flat tire. You just got to power through it. It's how you respond to bad things that happen in your life. It's not how, it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond. So that's the biggest thing, is just fishing hard, putting your time in, putting your work in and practice, doing everything you can to try to do the best that you can for your sponsors, your family, and everybody around you.
That's Tackle Warehouse giving you some love, and I am too. That's great advice. We're thinking about Aaron Martins and his family. Just a great BassU instructor, just a tremendous influence in the sport. But what a great lesson, how you respond. Everybody's going to have a breakdown. Everybody's going to deal with adversity. Especially in this sport, there's so many unbelievable variables that are going to hit you, from a million boats on the water on tournament day to break-offs, lost fish, breakdowns, forgetting to wake up on time, Tucker. It's about how you respond to that, and that is the greatest piece of advice. And man, I think we'll leave that with the audience. And thank you again, man. I really appreciate you being with us. It was great having you part of Bass University, and we look forward to having you back in the Bass University instructional seat here real soon.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I had a great time. Let me know if I can ever do anything to help you.
Well, you're doing it by being here on this show, and go out there and take care of business up on the Mississippi. We can't wait to watch. Thanks again, buddy.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, Tucker Smith, everybody. What a great head on his shoulders, Rich. He's really for such a young person. So many of these guys are being so successful, and you can just hear it.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and look, Tucker had some adversity and controversy hit him at a pretty young age early on in his career, and I think unfairly he received a lot of bad PR because of what happened. And it's an unfortunate situation because, you know, you don't get to know the true scenarios on things until you know the person. And it's cool to, you know, be working with guys, I guess, like Tuck, you know, because it's like you start to really understand who they are as people, and you start to learn more about, you know, what kind of judge of character these guys have. And you know, it's great to see his success. It really is. You know, like he said, it's not about the situations that happen to you in life. It's how you respond to them, how you bounce back. And he's done that really nicely. So it's cool to see.
Awesome. Very cool to see. All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to be right back and talk about some more Bass University stuff.
We're off the clock to clock more fish, to fill our live wells and empty our coolers, because there's more to explore. The latest Humminbird fish finders work fast, see clearly, and know all the best spots. They fish even smarter paired with the Minn Kota, and break down the water like never before. If you like your plans loose and lines tight, then it's time to explore. Only with Humminbird. Get right to the fight. New Mega Live 2 forward-facing sonar puts you on more fish with an ultra-clear, rock-solid picture of underwater action. Next-gen clarity, next-level fun. Only with Humminbird.
Do you love bass fishing? Then you have to check out Bass University.
Access over 1,000 bass fishing seminars and episodes.
Get discounts on the tackle from your favorite tackle brand.
Learn the latest techniques from the top pros.
And never stop learning. And never stop learning.
And never, ever stop learning. Welcome to the Bass University.
Welcome to Bass University.
Welcome to Bass University.
Welcome to the Bass University. Welcome to Bass University.
The original Element rods really Cashin's first launch, kind of in a price point level. With that, we got a lot of feedback. And that's what brought about the Element Z2 and its launch. The most affordable American-made rod on the market.
Mother Nature may be tough. I'm tougher. I'll take you where chaos is the cost of entry and where the fish are worth the fight. Because the bigger the question marks, the better the quest.
Welcome back, guys. Want to give a nice shout out to Thump Gel. We use Thump Gel in the hot weather down south, which is a great time when you're having a hard time triggering strikes.
Yeah.
It is a awesome weapon to be able to do that. Adds color, adds scent.
Yes.
And Jake and the boys love it. So do I. So
yes. Yep.
Get yourself some Thump Gel. Good to have all you guys with us. Chuck Fish, Tom, Frank, of course, TW. Good to have you guys with us. A lot of things everything we talk about here baits wise is available on Tackle Warehouse, as well as all the baits that our instructors talk about. We make it easy for you guys with links directly to the products.
Sure.
So go check it out. Tackle Warehouse has everything. And that is a big deal for all of us.
Pete, I'm going to brag on my juniors again from the weekend. The Ned rig got it done.
Nice.
Drew, lock in with we're dealing with real finicky river smallmouth. We locked in that owner blockhead on a 1/8 ounce blockhead with a Z-Man Ned worm.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in their hand, let him throw it. Slide it and glide it.
That's awesome. You know, it's funny. That's what Jake and I had our best success with on Sunday as well. A totally unique or different body of water than you were at. And yet the vast majority of our fish came that way on a Ned. But of course, and you can find these at Tackle Warehouse. You know what I was Ned rigging with, which is the 3-inch Senko. Mm-hmm. Which makes a powerful little fast fall. Here, one of the cool things, Have you guys ever had this happen? It's the greatest things when it happens. I was hung up on, I think, a piece of wood or rock. I wasn't sure, but we were fishing deep and scoping. And believe it or not, the Ned was the most powerful scope tool for us. It was better than the Demiki, better than a drop shot. It outperformed for us. But I was hung up and I'm popping it. Jake's on the trolling motor, so I'm wanting get as much trolling motor time as possible. So he's moving us over there. And about the time we get up to the snag, I'm trying to get to the other side of it to pop it off. It starts running out of my hand. About a 4-pound largemouth came up and picked that sucker right off of the rock or the stump that it was hung on. That's awesome. And started running away. So have you ever had that happen, Rich?
Yes. Yep. I've had that happen. It's not an everyday occurrence, but no. I've had it happen, and I think we've all had it happen where you pop it out and then they bite it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that happened.
I mean, that's the ultimate. You get snagged up, let a fish take it out handle it for you. Handle the situation. So.
That's the beauty when it happens. I had it happen to me on a crankbait one time, where they actually picked it off of a piece of wood just from popping it. I was shaking that crankbait and they came and got it. But yep, you gotta love that. Justin, why don't you come on in? We have a sub of the week to talk about as usual, and Rich, we're gonna dive into you with what's happening at BassU, because we have some really terrific content, some great instructional stuff that we're going to be releasing as always at Bass University. You want to go first, Rich?
Sure. So this week's release on BassU TV is Gerald Swindle, overcoming fishing pressure. And this really hits home because at Lake St. Clair there was an absolute display of such, and not only fish pressure, they had to overcome the recreational boat traffic as well. But neither here nor there. Gerald does a great job at laying out his strategies for overcoming that pressure in his own Gerald Swindle way that we've all become so accustomed to and known to learn to like. And he does a great job at just making it relatable for everybody on how to overcome fishing pressure, how to do little minute differences in your lures and your presentation to get that one extra bite.
Awesome. And he talks about thump gel in that.
Yep.
For sure. Look forward to you putting that out on the airwaves for us pretty soon, Justin.
You got it. All right. Sub of the week.
About a week of the year.
I talked to James Riley this morning. So while I was on the phone with him, I was trying to find a sub of the week. And I thought, you know what?
James Riley
out there freaking getting after it, Pete. And Pete, better than I. Where did he catch this fish at?
Oh, that's
you want to give up James's juice?
No, I don't know if that's the lake I'm thinking of. There's a couple that he fishes around here. One of which is Olympia, but that's a small little lake you just walk around, but I don't think that's where that fish is from, but doesn't look like it. But big shout out to James. He catches them, man. He catches them from the bank, and a lot of our subscribers, man, he do it from the bank, and James is just, man, he's been doing it from the bank for years, and he's very, very good at it. And he also designed the BassU logo, which is on each one of our hats right now. So he is the OG sub of the week, Justin.
Yep. Shout out to James. Anybody got some fish pics or with their BassU gear on? Send them to me on social. We'll get you up here for the sub of the week.
Let's see what you're catching, man. I want to see who's catching them in the summer. What are you guys doing in this? Because if you're a BassU guy, man, you're fishing all summer long. I don't care how hot it is.
Yep.
That's right.
And of course, the northern guys are in their heyday right now, just unloading on them. Yep. So send us some pics. What did you think of our interviewee today, Justin? I mean, there were some pretty unique things being talked about.
Yeah, I like Tucker. He's the man. I relate to Tucker. I'm not nearly as good of a fisherman, but I also like sleeping as much as I can in the morning. Although on tournament day, I tend to, I tend to get there pretty early on tournament day when I'm the boater, but
that's funny.
Yeah, he's something about us younger guys, I guess, trying to get a couple extra minutes of sleep,
That reminds me of our Potomac River house last season, Rich. Like, we're iced up, water. We're out the door, and Justin's still snuggling with his blankie on the living room sofa.
Yeah, well, man, it's you don't get as much. What do they call it? What's the sleep called? I'm messing up now, but
REM sleep?
Yeah, REM sleep. You don't get as much REM sleep on the couch, Pete, especially when you're watching Pawn Stars until about 2 a.m. at the Potomac River, like I was. So I was trying to make up for it,
Yeah,
that was a long week.
Yeah,
in that heat there.
That was a long week, but that's funny. You youngsters got to learn to prioritize your sleep. That's definitely a thing. But you're an early bird. I know we talked about Skeet. I remember Skeet was an early bird. He was one of those guys that was first to the launch ramp, and or so I heard. I would never know that, but that's what I heard. There are those guys that would like to be first, and they'd get their boat in the water and they'd just sit there and drink coffee and talk for hours waiting. Guess what?
Yeah, it's weird now that I have a boat and stuff. Like I definitely, I don't know if it's because I'm so anxious and stuff, but I be, the tournaments this year that we've all fished, I've gotten there pretty early, and
I get that, right? You got a lot more on your mind when you're a boat owner and you're operating, and you got to worry, is everything going to work? You got to get parked and all those types of things. But I get it. People want to be there early, but I got to ask you this. See if you can guess it, because shout out to Tony Osborne. He does the parking down there at Anchor Marine. On the big
I also don't get preferred parking like you guys do. I'm not on that level yet. So, I have to get there early. Like, I've known Tony for, 15 years, but I don't get that preferred parking like you do.
We'll work on that, Justin.
No,
but
put in a good word for me,
What, Tony, let me know what time on we had a recent Bassmaster Open. What time did the first boater show up to launch his boat at Anchor Marine?
Oh, I'm sure it was 3 a.m.
Rich?
I had no idea.
2:30.
Yeah, I'm sure.
2:30 in the morning was the first boat, because Tony got there at just shortly after, and the guy was already parking his vehicle. So. Yeah, 2:30 in the morning. That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's good. It's a good thing that they exist, because that means I don't have to at 2:30 a.m.
Rich was just putting his head on the pill at 2:30.
I'll stick to the 15. I'll stick to the 15 minutes. I got a 15-minute rule. I don't like to be there as they're launching numbers. I like to be there about 15 minutes, but not longer than that. I don't want to be there any earlier than sitting idle in my boat for enough time to maybe glue some weights into some baits or do something to keep my hands occupied. But any longer than 15 minutes, I start hearing people talk. It just, no, earmuffs.
Yep. Exactly. You got to get away from that dock talk.
Yep. Get rid of the dock talk.
Yeah, I try to get myself so together where everything's done, the night before. Everybody does, but I like to have everything done. And so when I put that boat in the water, man, I'm
100%.
I'm ready to go. And I don't want to have to, retool everything. And it seems like I always do. It's like, if I leave myself extra time, I'm just like Tucker was saying, I'm I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm changing my mind maybe, and I like to be there last, especially if I'm last flight. I wanted to ask you this, Rich, because I didn't launch at the main launch at Anchor, and one of the reasons I didn't was because there's no co-anglers, and I was concerned about the launching of boats with only 2 ramps at Anchor. How did that go? I never asked you. Like, was it problematic? Did they have people to help park your vehicle? What went on?
It was really smooth. They used the launch your boat, and there was someone there ready to pull your vehicle up to, halfway through the pavement, like pull it up past the dumpster, tie your boat off, and then take your time walking back to your truck and go park it. But Anchor had a couple people there that were allowing us to launch. They would launch us and pull our vehicles up so that we could tie off, come back, and go park.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was actually really smooth. Like, here's the deal with I'm gonna lay off of this one. It went smooth. It went smooth.
You can't just bait us like that, Rich, and walk away.
I don't want to. Well, I'll say it this way: when you're fishing in a Bassmaster Open level tournament, 98% of the field knows how to launch their boat really efficiently by themselves, regardless of the scenario.
Understood. Yep. Well, it's I launched at a satellite ramp, which which was over
right
by
your
place.
Yeah. Yep. I wish I would have
satellite ramp. That's our ramp, brother.
Yep.
Put some respect.
The red point was nice, except when it wasn't.
Yep.
Which was low tide in the afternoon, which had my boat sideways on the trailer for a day or two. But anyway, is Jocelyn available? I don't know if you're
today.
No Jocelyn today, because then I'll do it. We're gonna tease. We got some really exciting Bass University things coming your way, guys. If you've been with us for a while, you're going to love some of the new things we got coming, some of the new features. And we can't really dive into exactly what they are yet, so just stay tuned. We're going to be making an announcement here coming up here later in the fall, or probably in the middle September, sometime around there. We'll let you guys know exactly what's going on. But suffice to say, some new and exciting things coming at Bass University we think you guys are going to love. You know why we think that? Because you all have asked for the things that we're we're delivering, in whether it's in the classroom or whether it's on our customer service lines. We've had some consistent requests for some things that we've been working on to bring to you guys, and we're excited to be able to do that coming up here real soon. So shout out to Jocelyn. We're thinking about you, and we're going to be talking to you pretty soon. And Kyle Patrick, I just want to give some shout outs to you, brother. I know that was a bad beat, getting bit by that tick. I'm a little pissed off at the tick family and the tick world for that, but hopefully you'll be
get rid of these things.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll everything you're doing the right thing. You got to take care of your health first. You're a super talented and gifted angler, and we appreciate you being part of the Bass University. And we look forward to continuing to work with you and cheer you on next year as you tackle the elites again, which I know you're going to do with the style that only you can bring. So wishing you all the best, brother. And another shout out to Aaron Martins and Aaron's family. What an amazing force in the sport he was. Will be remembered forever. And man, channeling through Tucker Smith. That's really, really awesome stuff. That purple tie-in, that's going to give us all something to root for as we go forward. So thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And we'll see you guys all next week with another episode of Bass University Live. Have a great day, everybody.
I'm not going to let Pete off the hook like this, everybody. I am still.
Wait a minute. Come on. You're going to let me sign out, and then you're going to bring it back in?
I tried jumping in 3 times, and you don't let me. I only get a couple minutes to shine on the show. You gotta let me shine.
I know how you're going to shine.
All right, it's fantasy fishing.
Yeah.
We're rolling. We didn't talk about it last week.
Yep.
How did you end up this week, Pete? How did it go? You cut my lead. So
I cut your lead, but your lead's too strong. Your lead is just too strong, and I don't think you're catchable at this stage of the game. It's a two horse race. It's me and you, and I think of the 9 tournaments, you've finished 6 ahead of me. I think is what it is.
Yeah, I think so.
I've won 3 times, and the times that I've won, it's been too close a race. I had it going this week. I had 3 guys in the cut, and I lost one. I lost Easton on the final day, the final cut. He dropped down to 14th place. He fell out of the top 10 where he was all week.
Yeah,
and that hurt me.
Sneak saved me, man. The old
BP. I want to talk about one of the coolest fish catches of the year. I mean,
yeah, that was awesome.
Was it? I gotta say that really was. Throwing a swim bait through a discharge up by Lake Huron, I guess.
Yeah.
Made a tremendously long boat ride, jacked a 6.2, and tremendous fish catch. Yeah, he scored well for you. That kept you in the hunt this week. But there's no tracking you down, man. The only way I think I can catch you is if you forget to put picks in this week.
Oh, I'm not gonna forget that, but maybe I'll skip a bracket for you, give you a chance. We'll see.
If you lay down, I am going to have to punch you in the face. I don't. You better bring it, man. I don't want no courtesy. It is what it is. You had a good year. Congratulations so far. You never know. It's
Mr.
not over yet.
Hopefully, Mr. 2-time. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. We'll do our picks for the Mississippi next week on the show, right?
Yep.
And also we have a flash sale going on right now. It's a great time to get in the door at BassU before a lot of big changes are coming that you're going to want to be a part of regardless. So, jump on BassU, get yourself a $25 gift card, a BassU hat, some Berkeley Swamp Lords. And
it's Swamp Lord season. It's frog days of summer still, and gill gear. Go get some. It's a great time to get on board with Bass University. The fall's here. You're sitting in your deer stand. You're watching football games. Great time to catch up on Bass University training. Get schooled up on whatever it is you need to get better at. And now's a great time to do it.
Sorry for ruining your outro there, Pete. That was really good.
I know. Well, can we just replay that outro?
Yep, let's replay it.
Let's just replay it. We'll just do it again. Hey, have a great day, everybody. We will see you next week. Bass University Live.